Oh my gosh, it's the Dr. G Show. Welcome y'all to episode 164. Last week we took a little hiatus and we're on, what is this, Wednesday?
Yeah. Today's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday.
Last week it snowed.
Usually it's Tuesday, but there's a whole thing. Hey Todd. Todd. Yeah. So last week we took a little hiatus though because we talked about the coronavirus that's going to kill all of us right away. So if you have not sold all your stuff, bring it by my place because you're probably going to be dead by Friday.
He only wants the good stuff.
Only the good stuff, right? And if you panicked and you started converting everything to gold, please send me your address. So, as you guys know, as a little, you know, like assassins? So, as you guys know, there's 400 people dead in a country where 2.5 million people die every single day. Every single day. It's time to panic, right? So 436,000 people in China die of bicycles, okay? So we're all gonna be fine. If it gets past bicycles and sofas and swing sets, then it's time to panic.
But so I think the main thing to remember is that the way to not get that virus is the same way that you don't get every other virus.
That's right.
Wash your hands.
That's like,
don't touch your face after you've been to the grocery store.
People always want to know what you know, like, oh, wash your hands after you go poo or something. But yeah, that's like a European custom or something. I don't think you have to do that, do you? It's all good.
No, but one of the most common ways to get sick is actually from the grocery store. Everybody goes there when they're sick because they got you know, and then they get the cart all dirty. So after you make a pact with yourself never to touch your face until after you've gone home and washed your hands.
Oh crap! I forgot to wash my hands. And our solution last time when we talked about arabidinoglycan activity and shikiminic acid was pine needle tea and echinacea with turmeric, and there's one more. Oh, a star of anise. Those decreased. Research showed, so like when we summed it up, 25% decrease viral load, but 92 or 94% viral reaction. So it doesn't matter what virus you have. It doesn't matter whether it's Corona Plus or Heineken. It's all the same.
I have more
You have the
info.
coronavirus.
No, I do not.
She has coronavirus.
But very, very effective in reducing the ability of a virus to replicate. Because, as you remember from what Dr. G said, it has to get inside your cell to replicate. And elderberry concentrate is very, very effective at preventing the virus from entering the cell and therefore replicating.
It's like a viral condom. Elderberry, viral condom. Patent pending.
Or it's something really sticky that gets on the outside of the virus so that it can't attach to the receptors and get into the cell. It's very, very effective. And if you, we do not get a kickback from Wildwood Cellars, but in South Central Kansas we're very fortunate because we have access to elderberry juice concentrate with no sugar in it. A lot of places you have to buy syrup.
Let me get this right. We don't get a kickback?
We don't get a kickback,
well, that's
unfortunately. So we're just telling you it's the best kept secret ever. And so that, if you take a teaspoon of that every day when you're not sick, you probably won't ever get sick. And if you do get sick, then just up your dose to, well, I would say I take about a tablespoon every hour.
Can I drink elderberry wine and get the same results?
Somebody asked that. No.
Damn it.
No. Because the elderberry concentrate is like juice, but it's 10 times concentrated, so it has the goodies and the antiviral of 10 times of drinking elderberry juice.
Hey,
I
there's-
think wine would be about the same strength as a juice if it even still contains all that stuff. And while you're doing that, so our magic formula that Dr. G and I have always said is you take a loading dose of
Oh, yeah.
5,000 milligrams of vitamin C with bioflavonoids, and then every waking hour after that, you take another 100 milligrams. So basically 1,000 milligrams. So
1,000.
one pill. One pill of the big ones, the big ones. And if you're a weenie like Dr. G and you have to buy chewables, then you'll have to calculate.
Man, I'm East Side. I'm East Side strong.
Anyway, so, and every time you take a vitamin C, take another teaspoon to tablespoon of the elderberry. And if you are like at work and you can't be like toting around your bottle of elderberry juice, then you can add it to your drinking water.
Nice.
Yeah. In fact, that's what the lady does that owns Wildwood Cellar. She puts it in her
There's
water.
Dr. Kamen from Thailand. He's the man. Hey Gina, hey Angela, hey you guys. Thanks for joining us. We're kind of wrapping up our last like coronavirus episode that we had last week, so that everybody doesn't have to be scared anymore, live in constant terror. So tonight we're going to finish what we talked about 2 weeks ago, which is MSG. So this is MSG part 2, which you should really be scared about. Don't worry about coronavirus. Worry about MSG, right? So we talked about monosodium glutamate as an additive. We talked about the history of it. So if you missed it, go back a couple shows. It's really good. I was on there. Were you on there?
Yes.
We were both on. So
That's why we know what we did.
That's right. So we talked about the kind of history of MSG, how it came about, how it ends up in your food. We called it Chinese restaurant syndrome and wonton syndrome. Wonton?
It's
Wonton?
wonton.
Wonton syndrome. And then we talked about the physiology of how it actually damages the nerve. And then we talked about all the different names of it that you'll find in different foods. So what we want to do tonight is kind of wrap up that discussion with you guys and talk about some of the research of it, and then Sherry's going to tell us how we're going to solve all our fears on how to
can
be.
we live without it in
That's
a world
right.
of MSG?
So, research-wise, so there's a Chinese study. I can't remember, Zhejiang University in 2010, and in that study, they said that yellow food coloring decreased brain growth by 3,000%. Blue food coloring added decreased brain growth by 5,000%. They definitely cause ADHD, ADD, minimal brain dysfunction, learning disorders, dyslexia, right? They could actually feed pregnant animals those food colorings and cause the babies to come out retarded. So,
Don't feed your children colored candy.
yeah. Now in Europe, you're fine because they just put warning labels if our chemicals end up over there. Otherwise, if you go get M&Ms at Aldi's, Aldi. Auch schon hat das Dorfens like in the house. Do it.
Sprich
Do it.
kein Deutsch. Er weiß nichts.
Beat. No. All right.
You can say anything about you. You don't know what I'm talking
I
about.
know. So, Trader Joe's. So, Trader Joe's has like M&M kind of things that are healthy. They're non-toxic colors and stuff too. So you can still eat junk food here and there, just a little bit healthier versions. So then that same research showed that MSG decreased brain right growth by 8,000%. It dumbed us down. So, in 1960, Americans had the highest IQ. We're the smartest country in the world. We're the best. 1960. Geez, 20 years later, it's hard to believe I was born.
I'm closer to that date than you are.
So then, 1964, we went from number 1 and our IQ plummeted. And now, we're the 19th to 22nd smartest country in the world. I know the exact number, but I'm from America, so I don't know. Just below Slovenia. And so, a bunch of scientists went to the U.S. Senate and testified during the 1960s, and they said, hey, all these artificial colors and flavors you're using, they are dumbing down our population. And we said, it's fine, right? So MSG was way past that, right? And so, of course, I tell this story every time, but someone on Facebook, a troll, I think there's trolls on there. I've been a troll a few times, but not anymore. Clean up my act. So, they said, Dr. G, you're just a fearmonger. You're full of crap. And so then Dr. G does what Dr. G does, which is, let's look at a bunch more research and just amp you up with research. Let's do it.
I want to make one comment about the neurite death. Back in the day, they used to teach us that at a certain point we didn't grow anymore.
Yeah.
But now we know that we can grow new brain cells until we die.
All day long, every day.
So some of us are older than others of us, and we don't want to be, what'd you call me?
Okay, boomer?
Okay, boomer. No, we want to retain our sharpness. So there's a lot of things you can do. Learn something totally new, learn a new language, learn a new craft, learn a new something.
Right.
But you don't want to undo all that you're doing by ingesting artificial colors and MSG, which are going to kill those brand new little brain cells that you're working so hard to create. So we need to do all we can to keep those brain cells. Wow, this thing's
That's
just...
Newman. We love Newman. So, that's true, yeah. And so one of the things is you should definitely tell, I was teaching the substitute teachers on Monday about how to have stronger immune systems. I said, don't tell the regular teachers because you want them to get sick so you guys work more, right? But then they have to be healthy. So yeah, it's crazy. Your brain is constantly pulsating and growing. And since 1999, we actually know you can train a new dog, train an old dog new tricks. And all that requires a whole bunch of neuronal growth. So our brain's the largest when we're a baby. And then everything you don't do starts to become synaptic pruning, and your brains actually get smaller as you get older. But if you learn 2 languages or 3 languages, or you learn, do Sudoku, or you do things that are challenging to the brain, you literally force the brain to create new wiring. But that's what these MSG and the food coloring does, is it actually inhibits that at a dramatic rate. So then we end up with people trying to learn stuff, and they just can't, and it's so hard to overcome that barrier because you're constantly killing off brain cells, and literally, like we said before, you're shrinking the brain 4 to 8% by the time you become overweight to obese because of the food that you eat.
So if you're overweight or obese, this is even more important.
Is that the same as hitting beast mode? Obese mode? You know what beast mode is?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
You raised boys.
Oh,
Beast mode is when you play video games and then you get power up and you go, beast mode, and then they start killing a bunch of people.
I didn't let my boys play.
Dude, I'd be hitting beast mode in hopscotch.
I just wouldn't climb trees. They were good boys.
Well, I hit beast mode in trees too.
Well, that might.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, they did some stuff. I wasn't supposed to know that. So.
All this stuff. Hey, there's Jill. How you doing, Jill and Karen? Make sure you guys are posting. I've been rattling along, so we'll try to catch up here. The Journal of Neurotoxicology found that the excitotoxins, they actually will stimulate those nerves until they die. So, MIT University actually reported that MIT said that MSG, that's player hater stuff. There's Emily. That MSG, once it crosses the blood-brain barrier, causes instant brain cell death.
And many of us have blood-brain barriers which are very permeable. So
leaky brain syndrome.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We'll do a show on that.
And there
My
are.
brain's leaking all kinds of stuff back and forth all the time.
Yeah, we know. No, but I mean, if you have a problem, like we said, with you know, being overweight, or your blood sugar's a little out of whack, you have some insulin resistance, this is just going to be worse for it.
Yes.
You know, it's just going to be an added problem. You know, a lot of our clients come to us and they talk about brain fog, or they wish they were sharper, or they wish they could remember stuff like they did. They're having trouble. What I do with my car keys, you know, which is normal, but we don't want that to get worse. And one of the things that makes it worse is when you kill off your brain cells. So we don't want to do that.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because we're just like, oh, don't do drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Eat that crappy food.
Yeah, have some Doritos.
Yeah, that's crazy. So then the International Journal of Food Properties, that sounds pretty legit, had an MSG review and clinical report in 2017. So kind of like a meta-analysis. And what they found was, one thing too, I like this, because it had no disclosures. So there was none of the people in the reports or any of the research they used had ties to the food industry or any lobbying organizations. And there was no funding conflicts of interest either. So that's what you really want, is who funded it. So like when they said, oh, coconut oil is killing you, it was funded by the canola industry. So you're like, no, that's not true.
So this was a legitimate report, is what you're saying.
This is straight up legit. Like if we had to pick a side, it would be West Side reporting. Like
Okay,
that's how
and what did it say?
that's how legit it is. You don't understand. Saying West Side means a lot when we're talking about legitimacy. Like Tupac, you know what I'm saying?
I think the people to whom you speak are few. Let us go on.
Oh, they know. So MSG was proven to be toxic for both humans and animals. Did they put that in MSG in food, animal food?
I think they do. I think that grocery store animal food has anything that'll make it taste better for the animals. So you want to watch that too.
So if you don't care about you or your children, at least don't get any pet food.
Don't feed your doggies Doritos.
Although the cat food I got my cat says it has salmon, wild caught salmon, and it has filet mignon. And I'm just like, well, times get tough. I might be eating this cat food too, because a bunch of bougie cats. So this is kind of crazy too, because within this meta-analysis in 2017, it said that it damages the hypothalamic nuclei. So in your brain, you have the master gland, which we've talked about, pituitary gland. But the master of the master gland is the hypothalamus. So your brain, the center part of your brain has this little slide. That's the hypothalamus, and it has like two testicle-looking things, and that's your pituitary gland. And so they control very specific hormones. But the thing that controls the release of the hormones is the hypothalamus. So this thing regulates all kinds of, well, pretty much everything that's going on.
We talk about the hypothalamic, pituitary, thyroid axis, adrenal axis.
HPA, yeah.
So, you know, we have all these problems with our adrenal glands and energy and thyroid and all that. This is the hypothalamus that regulates all that. So we don't want to be killing off the nuclei in the hypothalamus.
Wait, we don't? Well, if my stock goes higher? Damn it. Okay, so damaging that hypothalamus means you damage the precursor to all the regulation of your hormones. So then that leads to things like obesity, fat deposition. Are they like in having a lawsuit? They have to be deposed? And then...
It's deposited.
Oh, deposit.
Where it's
A
deposited.
deposition.
Yes, yes.
I guess fat deposition, like it uses a basic word and then like a really good word. I don't know. So then decreased motor activity and then decreased secretion of hormones. So,
all the things we deal with.
Yeah, and that includes
Very much.
thyroid, big time.
Yeah.
So nobody would think of MSG as making them fatter, although I gotta say it will bloat the hell out of you because it messes up your bacteria. So people that have constant bloating all the time.
So it kills off the bacteria, right?
Yeah.
Right, messes up their little
Biosphere,
neurons
yeah.
and stuff too.
And then, oddly enough, or interestingly enough, Same research shows that MSG increases blood sugar, which of course contributes to the obesity, but also increases insulin. And
which makes you fat.
so, what are your thoughts about like age or the advanced glycation in product? So, if it's raising your blood sugar with MSG, what's it doing to the fine arteries and nerves of your body through the glycation process?
So if your blood sugar going up, you're going to be more likely to gain weight. But his point is that it's damaging everything that gets damaged in diabetes.
Yeah, it's the same. It's
your
the same.
Retinas, the little kidney.
Oh, kidney tubules, yeah.
Tubules.
Yeah. Fingers, toes, eyes.
Erectile dysfunction.
Whoa, calm down there. That's it. No more MSG for me.
Yeah. So
That must be the cause. I mean, for other people. No more MSG on dates. So then insulin, and high insulin with high blood sugar also is destroying arteries. So that's great. More heart attacks, more strokes in the population where we have lots of heart attacks and strokes.
Well, and insulin is the fat creating hormone. I mean, high insulin, we have high insulin to take care of our high blood sugar.
Mm-hmm.
The very fact that we have a high insulin is creating weight gain.
Yeah.
And difficulty losing weight and all that. So independent of any other thing like maybe thyroid. So that is a problem. And in abdominal obesity, gaining weight around the middle, all that is insulin resistance.
Yeah. And like Sherry's saying, if you're taking excess sugar, that again, it's not it doesn't even have to be dietary, but it makes your liver produce more. Mm-hmm. So then the sugar increases your insulin. So you have two inflammatory properties going on. If you're already insulin resistant or pre-diabetic, then it's a whole fiasco. But it increases your triglycerides, which is your conversion to fat. So then you're getting fatter, but you have the high triglycerides, and you end up having high insulin, high glycemia. So. And
I just was reading the other day that this can cause, a zillion things, but we were talking about all the other nerve damages, and it can cause ringing in the ears, high insulinemia.
Is that right?
Yes.
That would make sense because it is neurotoxic. So then, the other thing with this research, so it went through body systems of all the collaborative research for each group, right? And then for liver, though, you have what's called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is one of the courses I took at Harvard. And that is used to just, you had to drink hardcore for 35 years to even cause this stuff. But now we can do it with food within like first 10 years. Like, it's freaking amazing that we can do this. And then that leads to what's called this NASH, non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, which is basically pre-cirrhosis and cirrhosis, but not because of alcohol or hepatitis virus. It's straight up just that processed crappy food.
It's fatty liver disease, but not being caused by alcohol, and then we can cause it by food now.
Yeah. And then it increases lipid peroxidation, and like we say, cholesterol does not cause heart disease. It is inflammation. And part of the inflammatory process is the damage or inflammation of cholesterol molecules called lipid peroxidation, which then becomes those plaqued up arteries, not because of cholesterol, but because of things like MSG that damage the cholesterol that's in the arteries. And really messed up, the research then started talking about nerves, and you have what's called ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. That dude had to be so screwed when he found out that there's a disease named after him. Like, you're gonna get it. And so it ends up with like peripheral paralysis. Like, nobody would think of like peripheral paralysis of MSG, or like, hey, I'm just eating some Doritos, right? But it damages the nuclei, it damages nervous system because of that. Same thing with MS, multiple sclerosis.
So they're saying what? That you get it sooner, that you get it if you might not have gotten it otherwise?
Oh, it's just straight up causing it.
Causing it.
It's So it is since it's damaging fat, it damages the myelin sheaths of the nerves, and then that's going to be a cause of multiple sclerosis, or from the south.
Well, and these things that you're mentioning, ALS, MS, Parkinson's, those are all also autoimmune diseases. So like the body's attacking itself.
That's right. Yeah.
So, but this accelerates it because it's stripping off the protective myelin sheath on the nerve.
Yeah. And then really messed up, especially for your kids, behavioral changes.
And we just had a question about that, from an educator. She sees a lot of.
From Angela?
She had a longer question, and I couldn't access the whole question, but totally, this is MSG brain, right?
Yeah. And that's crazy because you'll feed kids this at church and at school and then be like, behave. Why won't you behave? I gave you a bunch of neurotoxic chemicals. Why won't you behave?
And we're killing their brain cells, so it's making it harder for them to learn and create those new branches and those new connections, and then they get frustrated, and then they have less ability to deal with the frustration because of the chemical effect of the MSG. So very, very, very much affects behavior.
And then, if we're messing up wiring in the brain, then we mess up enough, we can cause seizures. And what's really interesting is we have grandma seizures, like that's what old people get, right?
Grand mal seizures.
Oh, en français, grand mal. So it's grand, big, bad. It's big, bad.
Big bad.
That's not even legit.
Grand mal.
Big bad seizures, and you have little bad seizures en français.
Petit mal.
Petit mal. Oui. C'est magnifique. So, with petit mal and grand mal, okay, well, we know those things, but what's happening now is you're starting to see this kind of like amorphic kind of like seizures that don't quite fit into categories, and they're not quite sure, kind of like we say, I know you see this with autoimmune conditions, that it's just like, well, you kind of have these different ones, but we're not really sure. So we created this new kind of phase called autoimmune-ish, and so we might have like seizure-ish kind of thing. And so again, we had questions about that before, where patients are like, I'm seeing like an increase of like not really the typical seizures we've always seen, but these new ones that are just different.
And you would also see an increase in seizure activity in animals, which
Yeah.
I think is also true.
Yes, that's a big deal. Because we always talk cleaning products with seizures,
Well,
right?
and when you get it all together.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a joke about seizures, but all right. All right, so the research, so this International Journal of Food Properties, MSG review in 2017, degeneration of the cortex. So we said that the average American, by the time they become overweight, has a 4% smaller brain. By the time they become obese or obese mode, then it is up to 8 to 10% smaller brain, right? And literally, the research shows that it degenerates your cortex.
That's your prefrontal cortex?
All of it. So it just depends. So your cortex is everything.
The part that learns.
Yeah, so frontal lobe is like thought and behavior, mathematical kind of behavior, that kind of stuff. This is your memory. This is the way you speak, language, eyesight.
The ability relationships. The ability or not to have healthy relationships.
So, literally shrinking the brain. Literally.
Oh, I want to make a comment as soon as you get done.
Shrinking the brain.
Okay, so we've talked a lot, several times we've mentioned obesity, and we're not in any way diminishing the struggle that people have if they have trouble losing weight. We understand. However, we just want to make it known that MSG can add to the problem and can add more problems to the problem.
Yeah.
So we're very sympathetic, and we love all people who have struggles with weight because we understand.
Yeah. And our clinic, we have specialists, so like Sherry specializes in reversing gut issues and more towards like Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, We do specializing autoimmune conditions, helping people reverse or ameliorate those, and then even type 2 diabetes, obesity, like helping patients reverse that. Hopefully we're bringing on another specialist just for that, but we both do that too. And that's nice because, again, like, people will do stuff and then they're sabotaging it over here. And so it ends up just being this constant yo-yo with health conditions, let alone weight conditions, and they feel like they can't succeed. And the reason we get such high success rates is because we cover all the bases with that. So,
sometimes when an overweight person goes to their doctor...
Are you talking about me?
No, because you don't go to the doctor.
Oh.
And they want help with weight loss. They get told, well, just go out, exercise, and don't eat as much.
Right,
and
right.
we haven't thought of that already. But what we help people with just hits, 12 different points that have never been talked about before. And one of these is the MSG and its ability to, it even makes you tired. It just makes you tired of trying. So that's another point.
Holy crap. I never knew I was sensitive to MSG, and then I think I told you guys about this last time, but like if I eat too much, like I'm just like my brain is putty, and like I'm just like, oh, I go to sleep, like something's wrong. Like I feel like I'm roofie. I'm pretty sure I know what roofie feels like because I think that's really happening. No. Now I woke up pregnant, and now I got this food baby. No, the Korean restaurant, holy crap, they put so much MSG in their stuff. But bloating like crazy with that too.
Well, it also affects your intestinal cells and,
Yeah.
and the bacteria in your small intestine, probably your large intestine too. So that just messes up all digestion.
Yeah. And then when you're clean, right, and you don't have any, and you're away from it for a long time, like I used to feel fine with Chipotle. Like I would eat it and I get like a little high from it. I thought it was the spice because I get the spicy stuff. I thought I got like a little euphoric high from that. I don't think that's what it was, because I stopped eating Chipotle for a long, long time, and then I was just like, oh, I'm going to my friend's house. I got some Chipotle. I get the spicy and the pico, the mild, and the spicy would give me just a pounding migraine. And I was just like, damn it, I think that's MSG. I wasn't getting high off the spices because that doesn't make sense.
Have you looked at the ingredients?
No, I think they hide. Because just like we said before, there's like 58 ingredients. I know they put benzene in their chips. Hey, there's Cindy. Jesus is here. Jesus. Thank you for joining us. Jesus. Yeah. So, did you know there in the marathon, a guy was wearing a shirt that said Jesus Saves? And he, I think he had an asthma attack or something. You guys tell me. He was dying at the, and a dude named Jesus came and saved him. Isn't that insane? It said Jesus saves and then Jesus saved him. So it was really good. So, the last part of this research that came out in 2017 about MSG says it causes early cell death, which was what MIT did, but it oxidated the brain cells and caused instant cell death, and it messes up your genome. So it can literally cause genetic mutations for you. So what part of the research I do at KU and the stuff that I do with patients is looking at what's called single nucleotide polymorphisms, or SNPs, and then the question is always like, well, what mutated that gene? Well, we know MSG specifically mutates the gene, let alone benzene and those kinds of things. So then the last part of this increases hunger, so people get fatter. So they add it to...
You just can't stop eating it.
Flavor
It tastes so
enhancer.
good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and I notice, so I get these chips, and they're just corn chips, all just corn, salt, and oil, right? But I'm telling you, I have to eat those. Like, I'm just eating, I'm like, okay, there's something about these chips. Like, there's nothing in the ingredients, but I think they're messing with me. And so then I get the organic blue corn chips, and they have the same 3 ingredients. I could take it or leave it. I can eat 4 or 5 and just whatever, but those other ones, like I feel like there's a drug reaction there. Like there's a like MSG kind of like reaction with that. And then it causes allergies.
It's important to note that if you have that reaction to any food, just don't eat that food.
I'm a guy.
I mean, because we can't always tell by the label. So,
Right,
I mean,
right,
you
right,
have
right,
to
right.
be aware of your own body's reaction.
Oh, well, you know, guys, we're not self-aware. Maybe it's just me. I'm very self-aware.
I'm very aware that you can't stop eating those chips.
I'm very unaware. I'm very aware how unaware I am. So the other thing is it causes allergic reactions and allergies and asthma. So hives, yeah. So people get rosacea on their face, headaches, migraines, rashes on their body. I love all these patients that I get, and they're just like, we have all these weird things going on, and then just like once they clean up their food, it's like, well, how's the rashes? Oh, wow, they're all gone. Like, what's going on? And it's like, yeah, it's just cause. So just stop doing it, you know? So it's funny because most of the stuff we do, like, okay, yeah, there's all this research. That's in our heads, but the simplicity is teaching people don't do those things anyways, right? So, and then that's the nerd part for me. Sherry is going to talk about the practical part. Now you guys are scared to death, right? How do we shop? How do we like cook? How do we minimize? Because you're not gonna get perfect. Because I still get screwed here and there. Sabri, it has MSG in there, and that's bloated me because I don't think it's in the ingredients. It says something else. There's some ingredient in there that it could be MSG.
What are you talking about? Hummus?
Sabri hummus.
Oh, hummus.
Yeah, it's bull crap. So, and Sabri hummus bought Dunder Mifflin, but then Dunder Mifflin, Sabri became Dunder Mifflin again. You don't know.
No.
Okay.
I don't know about Dunder Mifflin.
So what do you think? So, okay, you guys too. I'm gonna pay attention to you guys too. I've been talking this whole time. Tell me how your day was. So, tell me what your guys' thoughts are. Hey, there's Chelsea. What are your guys' kind of struggles with MSG? Have you noticed that you have struggles? Have you made choices to where you can give some help to everybody else? Of like Sabre causes problems, so I buy the other one that's not Sabre, and that one doesn't cause any issues. I changed from those one chips to the blue organic chips, and all the problems go away. So what are your guys' thoughts? And Sherry's gonna enlighten us here.
No.
So what do you think? Like
Well, obviously you're going to have more trouble the more packaged food you buy. So we need to be willing to cook at home.
What? That's crazy talk.
There used to be a time where they sprayed salad bars with stuff, sulfites, I believe, but I think they're fairly clean now.
Who? What?
What? Who? What?
Sprayed what?
Sulfites on salad bars to keep the salad fresh, but I don't think that's happening anymore. I think there's a law against that.
Good.
So, you know, you can buy your veggies pre-chopped, you know, if you have to, but anything that comes pre-packaged, be suspicious because they want to maximize the shelf life. Like even like pre-chopped up carrots at Dillon's in the little plastic thing, you know, it might be fine, but they do want to keep it on the shelf as long as possible.
Yeah.
So just do your research, you know, and be aware, you know, if I eat these carrots, do I feel different than if I eat like carrots from the package and I chop them up myself?
And if you do notice, just Google, does this brand have MSG? And a lot of times it'll be like, yeah, someone's already figured this out. They're having problems.
Yeah, so back to kind of where I was starting with is try to cook at home as much as possible. Start with fresh ingredients. Use organic ingredients as much as you possibly can afford to do. If you can afford it, do it. Sometimes things cost 10 cents more. Sometimes things cost $1 more. Just depends on where you're at. Some people, you know, you can afford some of it, you can't afford others. Of course, we always talk about the dirty dozen. You know, some foods are more important to buy organic than others. Now, I'm getting off of the MSG thing, but when we talk about making our own food, these are important things to consider because pesticides will cause the same kind of symptoms that the MSG does.
Yeah, Angela says she can't do bagged lettuce because it makes her sick.
I can taste something in the bagged lettuce too. Yeah, it just tastes funky. I don't like it.
I like putting the bag over my head and eating the lettuce that way, but then I like get tired. I think it's MSG.
I don't know. What are you gonna say? So
Less packaging.
less packaging.
What about the food that like you go to the deli and they already like made sauces and stuff for like spicy stuff for like the food that's about to go bad and they sell it at a discount? You know what I'm saying? Where they pre-cook the fish and all that kind of stuff. Think there's MSG on that? You know, the grab-and-go stuff?
Anytime there's anything seasoned like the chickens that are already cooked,
Yeah.
pretty much guaranteed to have MSG in the seasoning because they want it to taste really good. They want it to taste yummy. They want you to come back tomorrow because you thought that chicken was so good that you had to have another one.
Hey, there's Jasmine.
Hey, Jasmine. And so be aware that anytime somebody that's selling food is seasoning the food, they are going to try to optimize the flavor, and they often do that with MSG or some other excitotoxic thing.
Yeah.
So peel off the skin. If you buy the chicken, peel off all that skin and seasoning and
So if you get like a roasted one,
right, just peel that.
just skin, yeah.
Don't ever buy the uncooked ones that have the seasoning on there because you don't know what it is unless you know what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
And yeah, like I get turkeys and like there's nothing bad in there, but they have that packet inside that you're supposed to add. I never do.
No. Any packet. Never add the packet to the food.
What about? I heard ramen noodle packets were good. Is that true?
Good
Is
for
that
what?
a good idea?
Good for what?
Is that a good idea? Those things, like literally, do you remember that? Like it put people in the hospital.
Yeah.
Those packets. Yeah. Because people just eat the packets.
Well, it does excite the brain.
Hell yeah.
So, but no, that's pure MSG. That's why how they make the noodles taste good.
Yeah.
So, what can we do? One of my favorite things is coconut aminos.
Oh yeah.
Now, evaluate that for yourself. It does make food taste better.
Makes it taste awesome.
Probably has some flavor a natural type flavor enhancer in it because it's fermented. Most people can tolerate that.
All right, so Jessica says that Chester's Cheetos hot and spicy. So those are one of the most MSG laden ones. And in the book End of Overeating by David Kessler, which is a fabulous book, I think he said that was the highest selling product, which blew me away. But it was because there was so much MSG.
So these are the products we're talking about.
Yeah.
The Doritos.
Funyuns.
Anything snacky like that has a flavoring on it. So even your potato chips.
Flavor enhanced.
If you want to eat potato chips, buy plain potato chips.
Yeah.
Because the sour cream and onion, which was always my favorite, it's got MSG in
MSG.
it. They all have MSG because that's the point. They're flavoring them. They're making them craveable.
And
Anything that says craveable, there's a reason why it's craveable.
And you should have all kinds of behavior problems with your kids with this.
Yeah.
And then they want more, and you're just like, oh, well, fine, I'll just give in. But holy crap. Okay, so Chelsea says, is that Chelsea Spanish? Oh, that's Chelsea French.
Okay, what about veggies from a co-op? Would those have pesticides on them?
I think she misspelled a cop. Never buy veggies from cops.
It depends, are they marketed as organic or, you'd have to ask the person that grows them or the co-op, where do you get these from? Are they sustainable? They might not be legally organic, but if they are chemical free, because it takes a lot to get a registered organic. So, a lot of people that are in transition are not organic, but yet they don't use those things.
Toppled Barn Farms. All your salad veggies you can get from them. Super healthy.
They grow specifically in the winter, and they have awesome
Oh, yeah, that's right.
things.
And then organic spelled backwards.
Sinagro.
Sinagro Gardens on the
Farms.
on the west side. So, Topple Barns east side.
Topple Barns south.
Well, south yes.
East.
There's
Yeah,
east-
they're out of town. You know.
There's no
with
south.
You and your thing.
But then Sinagro's west side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get you doing these signs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's awesome, and both of those places, Topple Barn and Sinagro, you can go tour their places, and you can get all kinds of super delicious, healthy vegetables for you and your family. And Topple Farm actually delivers, so that's pretty dope.
To Wichita, yeah. So if you're at the farmer's market and you're trying to determine if these are vegetables you want to buy, or you know, your co-op, when you're having a conversation with the farmer, ask them, "Oh, these are so beautiful. You know, how do you keep the bugs from eating these things?" And if they say, "Well, we use just a little bit of pesticide,"
Mm-hmm.
then they use pesticide,
They use
and
a
so
lot.
you might want to
They're liars.
keep moving.
Yeah. Don't trust anybody that uses pesticides.
Salina has Prairie Land Market that only sells products and meats, eggs, and other things from our local farmers.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah. So your first stage is local.
Local's good.
Then you have non-organic but organic, like non-organic
But chemical, pesticide free.
and then you have local organic, and then you made your own damn vegetables at home and your fruits because
You mean in your garden?
in your garden.
Yeah, I always say, you know, sometimes I have trouble growing my own things. They don't turn out, the bugs eat them or whatever. I have a hard time with
I eat those
zucchinis.
bugs.
Good. I'll
Just eat
have
the
you,
bugs,
I'll have
too.
you over. But I grow other things, you know, that do work for me. And my motto is, well, I'm not going to put pesticides on my homegrown produce because I can buy that at Dillon's if I want pesticide-laden stuff. If
Right.
I go to the trouble to grow my own, I'm not going to
Yeah.
junk on it. So, like we always say, shop the perimeter of the grocery store. Stay out of the middle, because in the middle you're going to find your Cheeto thingies and your Funyuns and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you can be selective. You know, if you want potato chips or you want corn chips, you know, buy the pure ones, buy the blue ones. They're not going to be genetically modified. I don't think they genetically modify blue corn. That's why I really like it. Plus, it has anthocyanidins. It has extra blue color.
Hell yeah, because the darker the better.
That's right.
Darker the berry, sweeter the juice.
And you know, if you're going to have potato chips on occasion, they're never health food, but they are good, and sometimes they go with things you like. So buy quality, because you're not going to be buying them as often. What are you laughing at? What?
I crack myself up. I don't
So
know.
we're gonna buy less junk. So
Yeah.
if we buy stuff like blue corn chips or potato chips, you know, spend a little extra money and buy the stuff that's good.
Yeah, and potato chip. Now, a couple things too. Is like I was speaking at Natural Grocers the other day for that group, and I just want some damn flavored potato chips.
You can't.
But
have them.
every time I look, they all have some crap in it.
It's because that's what they do.
I know, but even at the health food store.
I know.
And so, really, the other thing you can do is they have oil on them.
Right.
So get your plain ones.
Right.
Look up online how to make a spice mix, like Cajun mix or whatever you want.
Right.
Make that mix, pour it into the bag,
Yep.
shake
can
it
do
up,
that.
and then you have your own barbecue chips or spicy Cajun chips. And then it's
Hey,
all
Corey,
medicine.
just saw you. Corey's watching.
Corey's on.
All
I
right.
just saw Corey talking. Now Corey's
Jeez.
seeing me talking.
Yep.
I think we're in the Matrix now.
One thing that tastes really good as a seasoning, whether it's sprinkle it on your chicken or sprinkle it in everything, I call it bacon
Crack.
in a bottle. No, I call it, it's like crack. It's bacon in a bottle.
Bacon
it's
in the bottle.
bacon in a bottle.
It's just bacon?
No, it's
No.
smoked paprika.
Wait, whoop. Oh, shit. What's the special kind? The Bulgarian, no? You don't do a special one?
No, I just
So-
do Hungarian. Is what you're talking about.
Hungarian.
Yeah.
I knew you knew.
So
Hungarian.
smoked paprika.
Wait.
I buy
Do
it.
you prefer Hungarian?
I do not have a preference as to whether my paprika has to be Hungarian or not. I'm
Okay.
sure Hungarian is very good,
All right.
but I think at Natural Grocers they don't tell me if it's from Hungary or not. It's smoked. So
So
good.
Jenny Benson, but she's at her parents. So, hey, you guys.
so that's one very flavorful spice that you could add to anything.
What do you think? Paprika versus smoked paprika? Whole different game, right?
Oh, totally,
Okay.
totally.
Yeah.
Like I said, the smoked stuff's like bacon in a bottle.
What else do you add?
Oh, garlic granules or garlic. I don't do powder. I don't do the powder that's like talcum powder. I do the greeny stuff. That's
Do you
what I use.
do black garlic at all? Have you seen that?
I've heard you talk about it. I haven't experimented with it. I saw it at the. Oh dear, we're gonna run out of juice here.
Oh, we're good.
Okay, so what do we do? Okay, so
Oh wait,
what?
black salt on meat.
Oh, black salt's good. What's
Super
that?
good.
What's
Colin the Mook.
Colin?
But you can just buy black salt. Like honestly, all we use at home now is black salt in a grinder that I got probably at Dillon's, and then black garlic for all our garlic, which is aged fermented garlic. But it's just a regular powder. Like the kids actually use it. The kids use it to flavor their food. So
Yeah, I had another patient said her daughter craved that.
mhm.
That stuff.
My mom made us use iodized table salt that was purified because she hated our freedom and she wanted to kill our thyroid. But my kids use
She didn't
black
know any
salt.
better. She didn't know any better, just like lots of our moms
When we
didn't
would
know
do,
any better.
when she'd get angry, she'd feed us MSG. This is what happens.
No, you probably stole the chips and ate the MSG on your own. So
So not processed
but
food.
we digress. Okay, so
Seasoning your own stuff.
season your own things.
Yeah.
Buy your own meats.
Mhm.
For me, fast food is fish. I buy fish and I season it, and I like to put some of my favorite things are cumin and coriander on fish.
Oh yeah.
But they make this at Natural Grocers. They make this wonderful seasoning that I put on everything, like roasted vegetables. It's poultry seasoning, but it's not ground up. It's like it's green and leafy and dried, and sage, thyme, rosemary. I don't remember what, but it doesn't really taste like poultry seasoning. It's just a really good for things. So experiment with that kind of thing. Just herbs
Spices
give
and
you
herbs.
so much more
Yes.
flavor. Oregano, whatever
Yeah.
you like.
And we'll post the list of the other names to look for as far as MSG, because that's the hard thing. And so in the beginning, I mean, probably the easiest thing is just don't eat it. But then what the hell's the other name?
If you're out, what are you going to do? Because restaurants are full of MSG. That's their business, to make you crave their food. So salads are your friend.
Yeah.
Scrape off the seasoning. And I will tell you that maybe I'm prejudiced, but don't eat at Applebee's. They don't have anything there that is not full of
It's all
MSG.
prepackaged.
That's awful.
Yeah.
It gives me, I go to sleep. So, it's kind of like what we tell everybody all the time, eat the purest food you can.
Yeah.
And just be smart. Yes, it may taste super, super good, but your Cheetos and stuff are killing your brain cells. So.
And really for flavor, you have 5 different...
Vinegars, flavored vinegars. So stick, you can even do that on chips,
Did you just say anything?
I did. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was so rude.
No, so yeah, the flavored vinegar ones are dope.
Yeah.
Oh, and at Oleo's, now this isn't, but at Oleo's they have like pear and cranberry olive oil finishing oil.
This is a olive oil
Holy
store.
crap. Have you been there yet?
I've been to the one in Kansas City. It's got a different
Oh,
name.
it's
the
a
same.
game changer with food. Holy
So
crap.
flavored olive oils and flavored vinegars.
Yes.
You can Google the store near you, but in Wichita there's Oleo's.
Oleo's.
And Or you can make your own. Like you can just have a bottle of
Hey,
good
you're
vinegar
talking
and
crazy.
stick a piece of rosemary in there, and you have rosemary vinegar or olive oil. You can put your garlic cloves in there, and it's kind of fun. And it's fun for your kids too to see
Yeah.
that you can make things that taste different than they did before.
So if you guys have questions as we finish up, let us know. If you know people that have health problems that can't get things figured out, send them our way.
So what do you do if you get, I think we said this before, but if you get symptoms of eating MSG, the antidote is vitamin C.
Oh,
2,000 milligrams.
That's
it's good
right.
for the flu.
that's
It's good
right.
for
That's right,
MSG.
that's right. Yeah. No, so that's really good. Yeah. So if you do keep vitamin C with you, and if you go out to eat and you're just like, I don't know,
If you go out to eat, just take it.
Just take it,
'cause,
yeah. and that way when all those Corona people are coughing all over you while you're trying to eat, you're fine. It's all
Oh, yes. My tip would be to take at least 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C every day anyway for the viruses.
good. Do you crush it up and snort it, or you just take it?
I just take it.
Oh, that's a better way. So, and tell everybody. So I went over to my friend's house, and we fermented lemons, which I don't know what the hell they're gonna do with this. But then,
you use it in Moroccan cooking. They use it in everything.
they ain't gonna do no Moroccan cooking.
Well, maybe they'll just decorate with them then. I don't know.
So they made fermented lemons, which I thought was a waste of time.
No.
And then they
give it to
made
me.
fermented cabbage, which is purple cabbage is gonna be beautiful red. It's gonna be so
It
delicious.
should be done by now.
Yes, I gotta go by their house.
Go buy it there.
And then we made kombucha, and then we made, what was the other thing that we fermented? Oh, pickles. We made homemade dill pickles that were fermented. So I helped them with that. And if you guys have never fermented stuff, it is so insanely
He
hard.
did not invite me to that party, but I went and made my own party.
Yeah, it's bullcrap. Because she's off making her own stuff, and she makes all this delicious fermented stuff. But you brought
And
me.
I shared
She
mine.
shared. She shared.
Mm.
It was so what?
I made sauerkraut. I went to Legacy Ministries. If any of you know in Wichita, Legacy Ministries, they're a wonderful.
Are they a fermented church?
They're not a church. They're a
Oh,
nonprofit that helps teenagers.
Well,
Basically, they have a pottery studio. They have a coffee grinding place, and they have huge gardens. So, in Wichita, write it down. Legacy Ministries. They have huge gardens in the summer. They are CSA, and
so
you
we
could
can
get
steal food there. Or?
you could get your
Well, CSA.
good stuff.
What's a
from,
CSA? Nobody knows what a CSA is. What's a CSA?
Consumer sourced agriculture. I don't know.
That
Anyways,
just sounds made up.
Anyway.
You buy food there.
Yeah. Yes.
Is it? Wait, is a CSA like a monthly thing?
Yes. You subscribe monthly, but you could just go by and they'll sell you food. You don't.
Nice. Okay, legacy.
Anyway, we made sauerkraut like he did, only we made green, and we made something called cortido, which
Cortito.
means cut in Spanish, and so it's a lot of stuff that's cut up, and it has it's kind of like Mexican sauerkraut. It had carrots, cabbage.
Jalapenos?
No, we used red pepper flakes. You could use jalapenos.
Ooh.
We used green onions and fresh garlic.
Muy
And
caliente?
you could make it muy caliente, or you could make it
Poquito caliente?
no muy caliente.
No muy caliente.
And it had cumin. And we made the most awesome tacos.
Ooh.
They provided corn tortillas, homemade black beans,
Mm-hmm.
and roasted sweet potatoes. That's all there was. And there was no salsa. There was nothing. And we put the cortido on the top, and you didn't need any of that stuff. It was wonderful.
Cortito?
Cortido.
Cort-
Cortido.
T-
Cortido.
Cortito. Okay. Cortito.
So anyway,
I'm gonna put them on tacos this weekend.
so we need to talk about how to ferment things, because that was so easy.
Well, also we're gonna have this spring we have a everybody wants a cooking class, so we have cooking Dr. G, 5 classes. It's $200 and it's gonna be at OptiLive. So
Are you
one
gonna
of the
make
classes we're gonna do
sauerkraut?
fermentation.
Ah.
Yeah, we'll ferment a bunch of stuff because it's so easy, and once you start doing it, then it's really, really easy. But
You
basically,
can-
it's a great way to kind of get involved in the simplicity of cooking healthy and what flavors, all that kind of stuff. So you have a little bit more comfort zone with that.
Right. And it doesn't have to be hard. We had like 10 people around the kitchen table chopping up stuff. And then the thing that I found, the reason I went, I kind of had done this before, but I really wanted to see how they taught a large group to do it. And they're really basic minimalist type philosophy. And they used a water-filled baggie to hold the thing down instead of some, fancy fermenting jar.
Oh, yeah.
And it worked fine. So, yeah, you can do it complicated, or you can do it really simply.
Simple.
And so we'll be showing you that at the Dr. G's cooking show. Should
That's
it
right.
be Dr. G and Sherry's cooking show?
I do most all the cooking.
Cook.
It's just teasing. Okay, so next week we'll have a new topic. I don't think we know what we're talking about yet.
Do we ever know what we're talking about?
I don't ever know what I'm talking about. So I really appreciate Friday. I'm going to be on a podcast, ICT podcast. That'll be pretty interesting for you guys if you want to join that. You can go to ictpodcast.com, I think, or just look it up on Google. And
Who are you doing that with? With whom are you doing that?
Brandon Palsy. And we're going to do it over in Delano at the Palsy production studio. So that
You're
sounds...
talking about food and things like you always do?
No, we're going to talk about like the greater good, like the functional lifestyle type of treatment process, how we can help patients. Got to that point of like we're helping people reverse all these chronic conditions through simplicity and kind of the backstory and implementation of kind of where we are now with what we do here. We're like the best kept secret ever, but we still have people from all around the world that come.
So reasonable.
I'm not
Priced.
reasonable.
Well, he's not reasonable, but the price.
Oh yeah, reasonable price. So
compared to, people get better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's always people are like, how much is it? I'm like, this is the cheapest thing you'll ever have to fix it. Like most people like our patients in California, I'm like, you pay more for Starbucks than you do. Yeah. So, anyways, and we're gonna have some. I think our documentary club should be starting soon. We're working with a place to get that set up. So that'll be awesome for everybody too. So we'll watch documentaries together, and then we'll talk about the health implications of that, and really kind of knock down some of the nonsense of it, and what's the practicality and implementation that
Now
we
we
can
will
do.
not be serving Cheetos, right?
Only Cheetos.
Only.
Yeah, because then they get all messed up and they come see us.
Oh, I understand.
Eat lots of Cheetos. All right, you guys. Thank you for joining
watching.
us. And we look forward to talk to you. And I think we're going to have Sean Strickland on, which I think we've had him on years ago. So like maybe 4 years ago. So that'll be really cool. And we'll talk about some of that stuff too. He's pretty amazing. Otherwise, thank you, Sherry, for being here. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to post this and share it with your friends. I really appreciate that. I think we had 1,400 views for our within the first week of our Corona one. So it's good to see people being involved in caring about these subjects. So thank you guys. Post your questions.